Besides body butter, body oil, artisan soaps, another luxe product you can have are sugar scrubs. Now you have your sugar scrubs, which are just sugar and oil. That's it. Then you have emulsified sugar scrubs, which are using emulsifiers to go ahead and make it feel creamy on the skin, even though it's just sugar and oil. And it makes it even easier to wash off in the shower. When you use the sugar and oil, like you can feel that greasy feel even though you wash it off. And then the one we're making today is foaming sugar scrubs. I love foaming sugar scrubs, honestly. I just like that it has a soapy feel, and when I go in the shower and I use that, I know that it's fully rinsed off. You have that exfoliating feel already, and then to upgrade it, you can add oils and you can add butter. So that's what we're doing. So you'll get to see how I would make a sugar scrub for my business. So let's make a sugar scrub today. So you've probably heard about sugar scrubs. There are two types that I've heard about, which is the foaming scrub and the emulsified one. So the emulsified one does not have a foaming agent in it, but it does have emulsifier like emulsifying wax, cetyl alcohol, or something like that. That's going to help the scrub to wash off in the shower. You can surely use it without. It just makes it a little bit more greasier, and I find if it's not emulsified, that the sugar kind of floats to the bottom and leaves the oil at the top. I typically don't like those kind of scrubs. Other people do, and that's totally fine. Is whatever you like. Today I will be showing you a foaming sugar scrub. It's just a small batch here, so that's why the ingredients look so small. But we will be doing this today. Now, for a foaming sugar scrub or for a foaming agent, you need some sort of surfactant. Today we will be using SCI powder as well as a co-surfactant, which is cocoa betaine. I already have in here my liquids, which is I have water along with some glycerin in here. Glycerin is a humectant, and it's great for the skin. And then in here I have my oil. Today I'm just using sunflower oil. We're not using usually in my formula I would use sunflower oil and hemp seed oil, but today we will just keep it at sunflower oil. This is SCI powder. When you are using this, like the SLSA powder, you need to make sure that you have on a mask. These particles are so fine. When I try to take it out and any of it goes in the air, I start to cough because it gets in your throat and it agitates your throat. So make sure that you are doing that. Also, the betaine, it is a liquid. If you don't have this, you can use something like decoglucoside. There are other powders you can use as well, like sodium cocoa sulfate. A lot of people, they tend not to want to use sulfates because they say it's harmful on your skin. Honestly, like anything with sulfur or sulfate in it works well for me. That's why when I make my own body wash, I tend to use sodium cocoa sulfate. The body washes that I normally would have on my site, they do not have in the they just use cocoa betaine and SCI powder, and that's just so that everyone feels comfortable with using them. In addition to that, we have our emulsifier, so we're using emulsifying wax, and then we have stearic acid, which is used as a hardener for the formula. You can use something like sodium lactate. It doesn't make it extremely hard, but I guess work on your percentages. You just have to play around with the percentages when you are making these formulas. And of course, I have to add a butter. So this is usually a moisturizing sugar scrub, even though you're going to wash it off. I guess that's why some people don't really like to go in depth when they're making these sugar scrubs, because you're going to go into the shower, whatever exfoliant you use, which it could be sugar jojoba beads, it could be apricot kernel, however, whichever you use, you're going to wash them off anyway, right? But at least when you wash off your skin, I want to be able to feel my skin feeling soft after it has been exfoliated. So we will go ahead. Let me just get a spatula. Okay, so I will work with the water first. I have everything laid out so I don't have to use my scale here. But in the water phase, you are going to go ahead and use your SCA powder and your cocoa betaine. So as I mentioned, make sure you're wearing a mask. This is my mask. I got it from off Amazon, or you can just use the other mask. But I find anything with a respirator attached to it will help you at least be able to breathe properly, and the particles wouldn't get under that. After you've added the the SCA powder, we are going to go ahead and add our cocoa betaine. These spatulas are really great for getting into smaller containers. Okay, so this is finished, and I'll just go ahead and actually weigh this out so you can stir this to make sure everything's incorporated. I also am working on a different formula. This one is great actually. I have no issues with it. I just want to try a different one where there's actually no water. You still use the SCA powder for the foaming agent, and then you don't have to heat it, or you don't have to heat the water anyway. You will have to heat the oil if you are using butters, but if you're not using butters and you're just using oils, you don't have to. So I'll just weigh this out. So 153.40. I'll then go ahead and do my, so I have sunflower oil in here as noted. Then I'll go ahead and add my mango butter. And my emulsifying wax. And this is just the regular emulsifying wax NF. Then we have our steric acid. Okay, so I'll cover both of these and then I will put them on a double boiler. This shouldn't take too long, so we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so we're back. Now this didn't take long because because it's such a small amount. So here we have our surfactants are melted. Even if there's a little chunk or two, is really not a big deal. Then we have our emulsifier as well as our mango butter and sunflower oil and stearic acid all melted. Now this is not like cream. You don't have to use the immersion blender because of the cocoa betaine and the SCA powder in this. You can use a mixer. So you can use like a whisk, but I will just go ahead and use this because it's such a small amount. It does get fluffy over a period of time, like a whipped body butter, like a whipped body butter. But I don't know if you've ever used the say foaming base, where you can actually buy it in a tub. You can cut that up and then whisk it up in your stand mixer until it gets really fluffy, and then you add your sugar or whatever emulsifier you'll be using. So I'll go ahead and add this. See, it doesn't get milky. Okay, so I'll use this to whisk it up. So this is how it looks. So it will start to stiffen even more. So when you're doing this, usually when I do this, I have it in the larger beaker, so that, and I'm using actually the larger hand mixer. So that's mixed well. You could use a whisk, like just a normal hand whisk for this as well, since it's not a lot. So this is mixed in here. And then we'll go ahead and add our other ingredients. Now I'll just take the temperature first because I need to make sure that this is under a certain amount before I put in my preservative in. So it's 42 degrees Celsius. Let me just triple check that. See, 50. So I'll put in those ingredients and then I'll let it cool a bit more before I go ahead and add my sugar, because you can add the sugar now and then it just melts in the heat. So of course I have my preservative and I have my vitamin E. I'll also add my fragrance here as well. Okay, this is called Rain. I honestly love it. So I'll use 1.5 ml, which is 1% of this formula. Mix it in. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'll just let this cool a little bit before I go ahead and add my sugar. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so we are going to finish our, it's been a while, and we are just going to finish our foaming body scrub. So this is our sugar. So it has a few clumps, but that's okay. By the time it mixes in, the clumps will be gone. At this stage, or before you added the sugar, you could have colored it as well. We can still go ahead and do that. I'll use my Tangerine Dream. And mix that in. So it's like between a pink and an orange, but it looks kind of red. But a big wide bowl is good for this too. At this point, as I said, you can add different exfoliators. So you can add apricot kernel seed, you can add black walnut shells, you can add cranberry seeds. You can even add, like, you can do activated charcoal one. That way, with the activated charcoal, you will be able to get exfoliation too from the charcoal itself. So let's just put this in a container. Use a pot for this. I'm using these out because I have bought them a while back, but after realizing like some of the sealants that I have, because I use like a seal when it's like these softer things like creams, and the scrubs, I use a seal and it doesn't fit well on top of this. I guess stuff like powder stuff will be fine. So we'll go ahead and add this to our container. And there you go, you have your body scrub. As I said, this is a foaming one. Maybe in another video I'll come back and show you just how to make an emulsified one. That way you don't have the separation of the sugar and the oil. But this is our scrub for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.